this question so often. What treats do you use when you're training your horses? How do you make them make sure they don't get fat? You know, all these different questions that people are very concerned about, which is completely understandable. Having metabolic horses myself, horses with IR and everything, I have to be very cautious about what my horses eat. So I am very aware of the ingredients in my horse treats, and I don't give them lots of sugary, really rich foods that are going to cause metabolic problems and insulin spikes and everything like that. So I have some great recommendations for you, as well as you don't have to use food all the time, or at all, really. You can use scratches and rest and things like that if your horses really enjoy that. Grooming time as a reward, things like that. But what I like to do is break it up. So, you know, every couple, you know, I switch between the food reward and scratches and rest and praise and all these different things. So it's not like I'm constantly dishing out food, although I do use quite a bit of food during training for especially new behaviors. Anyway, so with that being said, I want to talk to you about a few options. Now I'm going to list some more in the comments because or not the comments, but the caption, because I don't have all of my favorites here today, but I'm going to list a few of these here as just some options to get you started and why not I like these different ones. Okay, so one of the first options that I really like using is like an Alfalfa Timothy pellet. Just a hay pellet. Doesn't have to be this combo or this brand, but you want to make sure that they don't contain added molasses and ingredients. You really just want straight hay, straight alfalfa. And I usually get these smaller pellets. I don't get the big cubes. I really like using these during ridden work because I ride with a bitless. I kind of need something that's a little bit on the smaller side. And also they have a really low sugar content, and it's just like giving them more hay. And the horses really enjoy it, and they feel like they're getting something special and delicious. The only negative side to this is that these pieces are pretty small, so if you're still new to working with positive reinforcement, they do fall out of your hand a little bit. And if you have a horse that's very mouthy, I don't recommend using such small pieces. You're going to want to use something bigger, and I will show you some options. Okay, so here's some other two options. Now, these ones by MannaPro on the right, there are some different brands, and I will list those that I will rotate between, but these are a beet pulp treat, and they are on the larger side, so they're excellent for just getting started with clicker training, and a horse is a little bit mouthier, so they're great. They're, you know, low sugar snack. They're really healthy ingredients. And the only downside to them is that if you are working with a high rate of reinforcement, these pieces do take longer for the horse to eat, and they are pretty, that you cannot break, I can't break them down. So they're just bigger pieces, but these work great for horses that are mouthy, need more to chew on, and need that low sugar snack. So next is my all-time favorite so far. These SmartCookies are amazing. I have the banana and the carrot flavor. Right now I only have the carrot, but these are excellent. I love these because they come in bigger pieces, but they're super easy to break down, and so I can feed them in a much smaller size if I need to. And my horses love them. They think they're crack, but they love these treats. They're really great. They break down super easy. And I use these as a little bit higher value reinforcer because the horses just love them so much. So, but they have really great ingredients as well, low sugar, and I like that they break down. They are going to be a little bit more on the expensive side for the amount that you might need to use. So that's why I don't use them all the time. I use mostly the hay pellets for the bulk of it, and then I combine something like these SmartCookies and a beet pulp treat. So I'm combining things. I don't just use one, and that way I can cut down on the cost and also reduce the sugar and calorie intake, and rotate up and switch up what treats I'm using for which behaviors. Okay, so I pulled out some other options for you guys. So one of them is something like this, which is another beet treat. It doesn't contain molasses. It does have soy in it, but it's a great treat, and I'm not sure about the price on these. But they come in these cute little hearts, and they are somewhat breakable. So you can break these up if your horse prefers something like this that's a little bit thinner, not as large as the other beet treats. These are a really great option for that as well. Now, another option is always going to be a vegetable like a carrot, or apples are a great option too. They're going to be a little bit higher sugar content, and also they are harder to keep at the barn. I use baby carrots just because I feel like the horses think they're a little bit sweeter, and they're easier to feed. I don't have to cut them up, but you can definitely dice up little carrot like coin shapes, little slices, and those are a great option. Apples and carrots for the horses, just keep them small and make sure that they're refrigerated. Don't leave them in a warm barn. So let's see, what have we got next? So another option that my horses absolutely love, and I actually use these even though they have really great ingredients and no molasses, no added sugars, they're all natural. And if you read the ingredients, well, where are they? I don't see the ingredients on here. Oh, here we go. Wheat flour, alfalfa meal. Anyway, it's really great ingredients. I'm really surprised by them. My horses think that they're the best thing ever. They love these things, and so the only problem is they don't really break into smaller pieces. So I use these as a little bit higher value reward since they are a little bit more expensive, and my horses absolutely love them. So those are an option for those of you looking for a little bit higher value reward than just like a Alfalfa Timothy pellet that have really great ingredients, are great for horses with IR and metabolic problems. That is definitely an option for you. And then last but not least, we've got super sweet, super sticky, super high value rewards, something like this. Now there are many different brands of really sweet molassesy treats for your horse and for high value. I don't recommend using these all the time, and I only use them every once in a blue moon, especially if you have a horse with weight or metabolic problems, because they do contain molasses, but the rest of the ingredients are really great compared to some horse treats that you're going to find with a lot of processed ingredients. These are really up there, doing really well as far as ingredient content. They're just definitely going to be a higher sugar content and shouldn't be used at a high rate of reinforcement. So that should be for every once in a while. Alright guys, hopefully this was really helpful for you. And like I said, you know, there are different options as far as, you know, the content of the treats that you're using, as well as how often you're using food rewards. You don't always have to use food rewards, and you can even use some of your horse's regular feed. So take away some of the breakfast in the morning and use that during training. You don't have to add extra special, you know, huge goopy molassesy, really sugary treats. Actually, you probably don't want to be working with those treats. I recommend using something way lower value, like a hay pellet or something like that. Something just a little bit better than they would be getting, you know, from their regular hay or just the regular feed. But you can also use the regular feed, and especially for horses that are struggling with or in the beginning of being introduced to clicker training and food rewards and need to work on food anxiety and manners around food, definitely use the lowest value reinforcer that you can as far as food goes, and then you can work up to be able to reintroduce something that's a little bit higher value, such as one of these two. And every once in a blue moon, you can use those big molassesy sweet treats. That's the extra special, the you just won the jackpot reward, just not your every treat reward. So I hope this was really helpful for you guys, and comment below if you have any questions.